What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. I'm your host, Stevie. This is episode 488. Couldn't be more happier in the summertime to be joined by Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. How are you?
Really, really good. Really, really good. Looked like you had a lot of fun this weekend.
Yeah, definitely tore it up for a little bit.
I love it. I love it. Of course, also joining us, happy to be with you, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. The hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful this evening.
Nice. I love that. Well, we've got so much to talk about, but we want to let everybody know that Kodi and I are going to be at the Vacaya's 2023 Mexico Resort Vacation in Puerto Vallarta, and we want you to join us. It's October 29th through November 5th. We are going to be doing Tags Live there on the property on Wednesday, November 1st. Super excited about that.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, cannot wait. You guys can all get up to $200 off, and it's all inclusive, you guys. So you get everything from food, all your alcohol, your stay when you decide to join us, and it's like one fee and covers it all, and just a short ride over into Puerto Vallarta's nightlife district and all the fun in the Zona Romantica. And I wanted to read this thing because they're going to have a red light district boat, if you will. It's going to be off property, but our new red light district boat will be anchored nightly just off the resort's beachside cove. Here, inhibitions melt away and sexual fantasies come alive. Vacaya's red light district boat is an intimate playground meticulously designed just for you. Hang out on the clothing optional upper deck and enjoy the company of like-minded adults under the moonlight. When you're ready, descend to the labyrinth just below and allow yourself to be overtaken by the rhythmic beats that hang in the air and transport you to a realm where pleasure knows no bounds. That's code for just have a lot of great sex. I mean, what I'm saying. I will be there, of course. Kodi, I think you will as
I'm
well.
gonna be there with bells on my balls. Okay.
Okay, donkey balls. I love
Yes.
that. So to take advantage of this, go to TAGSPodcast.com and click on Vacaya's 2023 Mexico Resort Vacation. It's on the top of the website. It's all over the place. Use our promo code TAGS, TAGS at checkout, where you can get up to $200 off. So take advantage of it. We want to see you there, and we want to meet a lot of you. So yes, super excited. All right, so many things to get into. And you know I love pairing up a lot of stories. And Bud Light, as we all know, has been in the news recently as the parent company, Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Bud Light and many other beers, like Modelo, I didn't even know that. I drink that when I'm out, is laying off about 380 workers amid declining sales. Quote, "Today, we took the very difficult but necessary decision to eliminate a number of positions across our corporate organization," said the CEO, Brendan Whitworth. While we never take these decisions lightly, we want to ensure that our organization continues to be set for future long-term success. And we all know the sales started declining when somebody from Anheuser-Busch sent over a beer can with Dylan Mulvaney's, transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney's picture on the can. We've talked about it so much on this show. Mm-hmm. And since then, I think it's the reason why sales, or many people think, the sales have plummeted because of that, which is kind of sad. The couple things that we didn't really talk about is Anheuser-Busch never really stood up for Dylan in the wake of everything that was going on. And two of the marketing executives, one of them that came up with the idea, are no longer with the company. They were let go. And so it's like, they came up with the idea, and then Anheuser-Busch didn't stand up for them. Anheuser-Busch also didn't really stand up for Dylan Mulvaney when she was going through all of this bad press and people coming after her. They never really did anything. And so now sales are plummeting, which is a whole different conversation than just the fact that we could talk about
Yeah.
that. Ron DeSantis, we all know, Florida governor and president, Republican, trying to get the nomination for the Republican nomination, is threatening to sue Anheuser-Busch, which a lot of legal analysts say, never going to go anywhere, over the claims that it was too woke for even creating this can with Dylan Mulvaney's picture on it. And I don't think he's going to get anywhere. There's a twist on this that I want to throw out in a second, but any comments? Jeremy, let me just start with you really quick, because I didn't know a lot about Bud Light. I never drank it before. I don't drink a lot of light beer until I met the family and friends of your crew out in Massachusetts, and Bud Light is really big, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's not for me specifically, but it's definitely like a Boston and Massachusetts beer that's popular. I absolutely hate the taste of it, and if I was to choose beer, it's definitely not one that I would drink. So for me, I don't really care if the sales plummet because it doesn't affect me and it doesn't bother me one bit. So
And just curious, have you noticed the people? I'm sure there's people in your circle that they've talked about this. Are they still drinking it? Have they not started drinking it because of the controversy? Just curious where anyone's falling on that meter.
all the people that I know that do drink it still are drinking it and haven't really talked about the drama surrounding it, and they haven't really changed their uh, opinion of the beer based off of any of the drama. So, I mean, I do know people that it's their regular go to, and they haven't brought it up, nor have they changed to a different type of beer. So, I mean, the people that are closest to me, it hasn't really majorly affected as of yet, and nothing's really changed in that sense.
Yeah, it's weird, interesting, Kodi, because we were out at the Eagle here in New York City, and one
Hmm.
of our mutual friends, I think it was my turn to buy the round, and one of our friends ordered a Bud Light, and I was like, Bud Light?
What?
But I mean, apparently it's super popular in gay bars, and I just think, it's going over the heads of a lot of people. They don't really care. What do you think about any of this controversy before we move on to like a twist on all this?
Wow. Yeah, I hear you. I think it's when you ride the fence, you get splinters basically. So I can see how the the decline has happened and how it has become a thing because they're really not taking either side. Ron DeSantis accused them of being woke, and woke is not a bad thing first and foremost. So, but I don't think that they were woke enough. I feel like if they were supportive of the gays, then we would support them in turn and their sales would not be as declining. So,
I hear you. Okay, well, here's the twist that I think is so. I love this. There's a guy by the name of Spencer Hodison, and he decided to just create his own beverage. And I think he's gay, and he was out with a girlfriend. He ordered a vodka soda and asked his dining partner, a girl, if she ever heard of the term gay water. Her response gave him, well, she said she called it gay water, and her response gave him the inspiration he needed. She said she thought so, but essentially, he created gay water, which is essentially a canned drink that is vodka soda, which we all know the gays love to order, and it's got a twist of lime to it, and it's got cute packaging. I think it's really kind of cool that he did this because it's like, why aren't we creating our own beverages? We go out so much, we drink heavily at times, and why are we supporting these controversial companies? And we should be creating, I mean, George Clooney did it back in the day, and oh my gosh, he makes so much off of a tequila bottle brand. And I just think we need to see Like, where's Billy Porter with his tequila? And where's all these
I
other?
would drink that.
I think we're going to start to really see this. Would you order? You're a vodka soda drinker, Jeremy. Would you order gay water?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would too. I don't drink vodka soda. I'm more tequila. So when Billy Porter does create that, or I create one at some point,
Here
then
we
I want
go.
everybody to drink it. But
Let's.
you're a what's the thing that you drink all the time, Kodi? White. But I'm like, ugh,
White Claw. Yeah, but that's
Oh,
it.
I hate those. They give
I
me like
hate
really bad
those.
heartburn.
Ugh. And Kodi loves them.
So you know what? There's one that I just I don't know if it's made its way to New York City, but
Uh-huh.
there is a vodka company that came out that's called Stateside, and
Oh,
they make this glass bottle that has like a lock and toggle on the top, and they came out with canned drinks called Surfside, and
Oh.
they're really really good, and it tastes almost like iced tea that's brewed with
ooh,
vodka. So it's
okay.
not super sweet, but it's very refreshing.
I like
And
that.
that's like my new favorite.
Okay. I might have
Yeah,
to
and
get some of that.
I think they're like low sugar too, and they have
Another
other
plus.
flavors. They have a lemonade, they have a peach tea, but my favorite's just the regular iced tea with the vodka.
I don't know that we could pry a white claw out of Cody's
Oh my
hands.
goodness. I drink other things other than White Claw. I drink White Claw when I feel like I'm getting too much of a buzz, and because I'm just a control freak no matter what time of day. So if I feel like I'm going too much left, then I'll just drink a White Claw and it'll take it right down. If so I can maintain that nice safe space where I feel good.
Well, we want to hear from you. Let us know what you're currently drinking. Are you sticking with Bud Light if that's your drink? Or what is your drink? Let us know. We'll read some of these on the next show. Or would you drink gay water? I like that.
I
Gay
would drink
water.
good water. I
Yeah,
want to support.
me too. Especially if you're into water sports. And that could be a
Is
good
there
one.
pee in there? Wait a minute now.
Well, I'm just saying,
That
it's a
wasn't on
whole
the side.
thing.
Oh, it's a fun can too with the rainbow on it.
Oh,
Exactly.
cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Come on now. Gotta
Okay, well,
support.
we have to shift a dramatic turn here, and we're talking all about international travel, but we'll make our way back to Brooklyn. And you know, I love to pair up
Yay.
stories. This one is a little so a recent sex tape came out in Iran. We all know about Iran, right? You guys, where your rights, LGBTQ rights don't exist there. It's illegal to be gay and of LGBTQ persuasion. Women
Mhm.
rights are we've talked about that as well. They don't have their rights there too. It's just a whole thing. Well, a sex tape in Iran has led to the suspension of an official in charge of promoting Islamic values and prompted authorities to deny any prior knowledge of his alleged behavior. And the video was posted online and showed the head of culture and Islamic guidance in Gilan province, Reza Tezagati, having sex with another man. I tried to look for this tape so I could watch it because I wanted to see
Ooh.
how it all
Send it
went
to me when you find
down.
it.
I know. Good. I'm putting you on it, Kodi.
Okay.
Um, so he's been removed from his post while they investigate. But like I said, homosexuality is illegal in Iran with LGBTQ plus people at risk of harassment, abuse, and violence. It's been widely shared on social media. So good luck finding it because it should be out there. That's crazy to me that a head of what did I say he was head of culture and Islamic guidance would find himself in this situation. But moving on to another story of travel. According to Pink News, Greek City Times, and Yahoo News UK, Miguel Alvaro, he's 35, was renting an apartment in Istanbul, which I've stayed in. And while taking an extended vacation, he left his apartment on June 25th wearing short shorts and a crop top. And he asked a policeman for directions as he was walking around. He tells sources that he was immediately grabbed, kicked, hit in the ribs, and thrown into a van while not resisting arrest.
What?
Miguel is a native of Portugal. He believes he was arrested solely due to his clothes, appearances, and that law enforcement perceived him to be gay. um I I was looking up like his social media, but he's scrubbed it all clear. I think he's traumatized by all this. He was in jail for 20 days.
Oh my
It took his
gosh.
father to come and fight to get him out, but he was wearing the same clothes the entire time. He was harassed. He was called the F word by police officers the whole time he was in there. He and a couple other guys took turns sleeping, and one would be on watch because they were afraid that they were going to be beaten. And while personal hygiene, they didn't get much food and water. But 20 days he was in this. He's traumatized, he said, and he's definitely going to be seeking treatment, he said. But I would not think this would happen in Istanbul at all. There's another story here in Brooklyn that I'll read in a second. But I mean, I don't know. We talk a lot about traveling worldwide and knowing, watching out for your safety. What do you think? Apparently, Jeremy, there was a pride parade happening at the same time in Turkey that they were a lot of the police were on high alert, and so many of them think that they arrested him, yes, because the way he was dressed, because they assumed he was gay, but
Mhm.
also because they had a quota to meet. They had a quota to meet on so many arrests because they already knew about this pride celebration that was going to happen that was against what government was saying is okay. I mean, would you go to would you go to a place like this? We don't want to he's a victim, I think, in all of this, and we definitely don't want to state anything other than this is awful for him.
Right.
What were your thoughts just when you hear this, I guess?
I mean, I think it's really scary, and it's so disheartening to know that that could happen, especially just somewhere that someone wants to travel, and you don't know like what you're getting yourself into sometimes. And I just think that that whole situation is awful.
Yeah, I mean, Kodi, I once was on an Atlantis cruise that stopped over in Istanbul,
Hmm.
and there's some gay bars in there. So this happened there. I would think this wouldn't happen. I told you why potentially this could have occurred, quotas trying to be met. But I mean, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I totally agree with Jeremy. And to kind of further see, like, put into scope how insane this is, the police, he went up to the police for help, for directions, basically. And they are the ones that arrested him for looking gay because he had on a short shorts and a crop top. That was the 1970s uniform back in the day. So this is really wild to me, and it's really saddening. So I hope he's okay. I hope he
Yeah,
gets
and
the help he needs, basically.
definitely, because 20 days in that kind of situation, and I'm sure I mean, for doing nothing really is ridiculous. I would be livid, but I would also be traumatized. And I don't even know what else I would be because I haven't gone through that. But our hearts and prayers are with him and his family at this time right now. So, but here in Brooklyn, a Brooklyn man was fatally stabbed for, guess what, voguing at a gas station near
Ugh.
Coney Island on Saturday night. He was with his friends. He's an accomplished dancer, choreographer, and activist. And they're calling it, NYPD is calling it a hate crime. Sibley O'Shea, who was 28, was found by authorities with a stab wound to his abdomen at a mobile gas station in Midwood around 11:15 on Saturday night. And according to the New York Post, the video reportedly shows O'Shea and three other men wearing bathing suits while gassing up their vehicle. O'Shea can be seen voguing along with one of the other men when a group of men by the station store entrance shout words at them. O'Shea and his companions approach the group and words are exchanged. The conversation grew heated but breaks up after several minutes. But moments later, the group clashed again and a physical fight broke out. O'Shea was stabbed and staggered to a sidewalk where he collapsed as his assailants dispersed. and it's, people are putting a lot of tributes to him because, A, it was awful, but B, he contributed so much to the dance community, to the ballroom culture. It's even reported on. And to think that here, even in Brooklyn, we're talking about
Yeah,
Turkey, we're talking about over in Iran, but here in our own, I mean, let's just start with you, Kodi, because you live in Brooklyn. I mean,
I,
I don't know if you heard about this, but this is
I didn't.
awful.
Yeah, no, this is insane. And it happened in my neck of the woods, basically, in my backyard. And it makes me really scared. And I was trying to find a word that wasn't scared, but it just makes me scared to go outside and express my gayness, and I shouldn't have to feel like that. I shouldn't be made to feel like being who I am is a reason for somebody else to want to attack me. I should be able to live my life as a human being out there in the world and express myself. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not trying to shove anything in your face. I don't want you because you think that you're the hottest thing in the world. You probably don't wipe your ass, okay? I don't want that. So I I just think this is really sad, and my heart goes out to his family.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's just awful. I mean, in where you're at, Jeremy, these days, and I know you were out recently over the weekend. I mean, do you worry about any of these things happening in when you're going out in Massachusetts, in the Boston area, and what do you think about just what occurred?
I definitely think about it, and I think that it's always good to stay cautious while you're out and just make sure that you are aware of your surroundings at all times. I think that sometimes what happens is people lose track of just thinking it won't happen to them or it couldn't happen to them, and then it does. And it's hard to like pick up the pieces afterwards. So I just think it's always good to be aware of what's going on and just be cautious and make sure that you surround yourself with people that care about your well-being also.
Very well put, Jeremy.
Yeah, yeah. Our hearts go out though to him and his family during and the friends, really, because this is just atrocious and awful, and he lost his life over this. So, oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's switch gears. And Jeremy, do you know Cameo? Are you familiar with it?
Yes.
We're okay, yeah,
Oh
and
my
I know
gosh,
you
I
are.
thought you meant Cameo, the group from the 80s.
I know he would not know that, and so no, I'm talking about the
Yes,
app.
where you record like celebrities record little snippets for people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't really know a lot about it, and it's become more in the public eye recently. I mean, if you look at the other two, a show I like on Max that uh, Carrie, the main character, one of the main characters, was doing it to make some extra money. And it's a hilarious episode where he tries to meet up with some of the people that paid for him to do it. And it's so awkward. It's worth a watch, season two. But Che on And Just Like That was doing it because she's out of work right now. And I would assume a lot of actors are probably doing this right now with the whole SAG AFTRA strike that's going on right now, because a lot of actors aren't making money the way,
Yeah.
especially actors that are at a certain echelon. And we always forget about that actors, we think about George Clooney, like I just mentioned, he's going to be fine, y'all. But the majority of actors that you see having guest roles are struggling right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But Cheyenne Jackson, Jonathan Bennett, and other LGBTQ plus stars are available on Cameo for under $100. And I think that's actually a good price to charge for those celebrities I mentioned. But celebrities set the rate, so those with deep pockets will need to drop $300 or more to get the likes of Lance Bass, Deborah Messing, or Elijah Wood. And at first, we were talking about this, Kodi, offline, but Fire Island, the movie Fire Island hunk, Conrad Ricamora, you'll have to spend $999 to get a message from him. And at first I was like, really? Like, what has he done? And then I ate my words because I realized I had seen him before. He's a Broadway actor. He's currently in Here Lies Love, and I saw him when it wasn't when it was in the public theater, and he's outstanding. So I don't have $1,000 to spend on it, but and he just got married recently.
I was gonna say he's
Talk
got a
about
wedding to
that.
pay for.
You okay? Yeah. He got hitched, but he went to City Hall, so he just wants extra coin. What do you think? Would you spend money, Jeremy, on certain actors, and what would be your limit for spending on a certain person? Would you spend up to $300?
No, I definitely would not. I don't even know if I would spend $50 on it, to be honest.
I'm with you on that.
I mean, I think it's like it's definitely a funny, like really cute gesture, and if you like love a reality star or any of the celebrities that are on there, I think it's a cool gift to receive, but I can't see myself wanting to spend like $100 or $50 or even 300 or 900 on that type of little clip. And just for them to say your name, I don't know. I just don't.
Say
Yeah,
your
it's
name,
not.
or do a shout out.
Yeah.
I mean, many times it's like, do a shout out because I'm going on my first date within 6 months after my divorce. And so you'll hear the person go, hey, Ken, I know you're going through that divorce, and I just want you to know I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I'm so here for you. And have a great date tonight. I'm here for you. And then that's the end of the video.
No.
And I'm overly animated. And I get it. Make the money you can. And by the way, you could subscribe to our Patreon account for this show
Yes.
that we give you every week, 2 shows a week, you might add. Go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast, y'all. And that's my shameless plug for our version of Cameo. But Kodi, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? And I mean, it's about making the coin, I guess.
You know what? They got bills to pay. And if people are willing to pay it, then I say go for it. I'm with Jeremy. I'm right in that boat. $50 is my maximum. So I guess I'm going to get the bottom rung of the actors. I don't even know who's in there. But I'm going to make it worth my while for sure. So
yes, definitely. Okay, let's move on. We have to talk about TS Madison, and let's talk about this next segment, which we're calling Stand Up Against Anti-Trans Sentiment. And it starts with TS Madison, where you sent me this, Kodi,
yes.
that I did not know about it, but there was essentially a comedian. TS Madison clapped back against a stand-up comedian who went on a transphobic rant. Last Saturday, comedian Jess Hilarious posted a video to Instagram blasting trans TikTok creator Blessing Rose. And in a post, Rose said cis women don't own womanhood or periods, which sent Hilarious into a hateful rant calling trans women delusional, mentally insane, you heard me, and angry. Who's the fuck is gonna stand up for us? Hilarious said in the deleted clip. And us, I mean real women, biological women. When does the delusion stop? What is the difference between a trans person and someone who has been diagnosed to be mentally insane?
Girl.
The only difference is you don't have a straitjacket on. Before the video was taken down, Hilarious fans supported her negative words and even misgendered, insulted, and maligned trans women. Well, thankfully, T.S. Madison hopped online and spoke her truth. Quote, there are so many, quote, real women that get mistaken for being transgender women, and that's where a lot of the anger comes from. I do hope they take a good look at how transphobia affects all women. And she went on to say things like, I grew up with a black woman. I was raised by black women. I know the plight and struggle of black women. My fan base is largely black women. And she just could not stand for this. It upset her so much. I mean, Kodi, when you read this, what did you of course sent it to me because it's absurd.
It's absolutely insane. I think Just Hilarious is a piece of garbage, and she's incredibly transphobic. And like you said, I've been wanting to do the story for a minute because I think it's so important for us to support our trans sisters. I think that at the end of the day, this is just a tactic to divide women and distract us as a society from the issues that we need to be united against right now. And I think that a lot of the issues that cisgender women have with transgender women stem from insecurities. I'm not a woman, but that's just my take on it. And it's something that I have actually heard from transgender women.
And we should be
Furthermore,
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. Furthermore, I think transphobia does affect all women because TS Madison is 100% correct in that, because there was just a black woman that was murdered, a cisgender black woman that was murdered because somebody thought that she was transgender. So, if we eradicate transphobia, then I feel like more women will be protected. And that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, I know you started watching. I don't know if you finished it. I finished it last night on Max, called Last Call: When a Serial Killer Stalked Queer New York. And at the very end of it, they did a really good tribute of they finally revealed who this serial killer was. Ugh, it was like after all that time. But what they also showed was it's almost replicating again. So this was all in the 90s when many of these queer men were murdered. And here we are today seeing again murders and homophobia, of course, transphobia happening, and the murders of so many trans women happening that never see the light of day in the news. They don't even get there. What did you think with what this comedian said, and is she just contributing to the anti-trans movement?
Yeah, she's definitely contributing to it, and trying to keep it in light and just like make a fool of herself. She looks embarrassing. She's actually not the prettiest woman herself.
Get her.
And I think she's kind of scary looking, and she probably needs to just take a few seats and educate herself a little bit more.
Yes.
And also just talk with other females that maybe are a little bit more open-minded to get a more well-rounded point of view.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Staying on topic of anti-trans, there was about 100 trans men that signed up recently for the Miss Italy pageant after a trans woman were banned. So the head, essentially, let me just tell the story. I won't even read it too much, but the head of Miss Italia had said that she essentially said that there's so much wokeness happening around with these pageants, and many trans women have recently won some of these pageants around the globe, which I think is great.
Right?
Right. And they won on their own accord. And so to me, this is a different conversation from sports, and you can have your opinions about that. It's a totally different conversation. I'm not saying where I'm on that. But with this particular one, she stood her ground as the organizer and said that we are only going to allow that contestants had to be women from birth. So to combat that, 100 trans men who were born, by the way, as women at birth have entered the contest. And that was when we started this story a couple weeks ago. We were going to do this last week and we didn't have a chance to. It may be more. I think this is poetic justice, and I hope many of these trans men who were born women at birth are allowed. They should be, according to the rules and regulations that she set forth and what she's called woke of other contests. And I think it's great. And I hope that it's televised, because do you think this will go forth, Jeremy? Or where do you stand on this?
Oh yeah, I definitely think it'll go forth, and I think it's great.
Exactly. I know. And Kodi, you and I were talking about this. I mean, what did you think about the organizers, Patricia Miriglani, and she's the one that has made all these, statements against being anti-trans.
Yeah, this is solidarity, and this is how you do it. So trans men stand up. I'm so happy about this, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. I want a ticket to this beauty pageant because I can't wait. I would love to see this.
Exactly. Okay. Well, we love to give advice, and let's do a couple of threads that have come under, my Periscope here. They wrote, "Is it uncommon to meet for a drink before hooking up? I'm a trans man, so my experience will be different from a lot of people. I used Grinder for years, always just going around to some guy's house for meaningless sex. But I reached a point in my life where I'm accepting that this isn't good for me and it's not what I want. I want to preface this by saying that I don't think there's anything wrong with no strings attached. It's just not what I'm looking for. I've recently started asking guys to meet for a drink, coffee, before we go to his, and no one's been willing to do that. Is that strange of a request? I don't enjoy going to a stranger's house and fucking someone who doesn't care if I come or not, but I do it because I'm horny. I'm lonely and I enjoy physical intimacy. I want to get a
Oh.
drink and talk and flirt and first to make the whole thing feel less transactional or to feel less like a sex object. I get that most people are on Grindr because they want a quick shag. Are they British? And again, that's fine for them. But am I being completely ridiculous or wanting to grab a drink and talk a little beforehand? Lastly, ideally, I'd like a partner, but that's not something I have. I'm realistic that I have to compromise, but is there not a middle ground between having an LTR long-term relationship and getting fucked by some dude who can't be bothered to have a drink beforehand? Jeremy, I ask you, do you like to have a drink before you shag?
Most of the time, I don't, but I could be open to it. And I definitely think that it would be more of an icebreaker than just walking into someone's house.
Ugh.
But if I am horny enough, then I would just
Hmm.
go and skip the drink. But I could be persuaded.
I give this person credit for posting this because I I think they're a trans man, so they have other things that may need to come up in a conversation
Hmm.
unless they talked about it extensively
Hmm.
on the app. So there's that. But for me personally, I what's the harm of just meeting up for somebody for a quick coffee or a drink to see if you really are who you say you are, and on top of that, are we really feeling the vibe?
Hmm.
Cody?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But the first thing is safety. So everybody should be safe. And I would say meet in a public place. But for me, I think it's more important that every time that I have gone to somebody's house on Grinder just to fuck them, I wasn't going to say the F word, but
You can,
I
sweetie.
know, I know, right? I'm allowed. I'm grown. Just to fuck them, it has been so awkward for me, and I felt such anxiety that sometimes I wasn't even able to perform. So I felt that the way for me to combat that is for me to go and have a drink with them, feel out their vibe, and see if I actually like them before going home and fucking their brains out. So I think that it's
Okay.
a great way to do it.
Well, this is a perfect segue into our next advice that we're going to give. And by the way, you can always ask us for relationship or sex advice. Just simply go to our personal accounts. We'll give them in a minute on Instagram, or go to TAGSPodcast.com and hit the click the link contact where you can ask us anything. But this sort of relates to kind of what you're saying. Would you keep dating someone if the first time sex was underwhelming? They wrote, I just started seeing this new guy that I really like. In general, we get along pretty well in terms of intelligence, personality, interest, communication style. After a month, we finally took it to the next level and had sex. Non-penetrative. Let me just say that it was awkward, for lack of a better word. I was super nervous as I don't have a lot of experience. I might have accidentally bit him while giving head. I felt so
Oh
bad
no.
and apologized afterwards. Not biting. We both finished, but it was literally anticlimactic. I'm not sure if he wants to keep seeing me and vice versa. From what I gather, there are two schools of thought. Some people are saying that sex is an important part of a relationship, and if you're sexually incompatible, there's really no point in being together. Other people suggest that you keep going and sex will eventually get better as the relationship grows. Which is correct? And how should I determine sexual compatibility? If one is severely inexperienced, should I bring this up to him or should I pretend nothing happened? I feel kind of awkward texting, talking with him now. Well, that's loaded, but let me just start by saying for me personally, sex isn't always great the first times. In fact, I recently started texting somebody on Instagram that we dated for a while, and turns out he saw me at a leather event and started saying, "You look really good in that." And then we started going down this new direction of things he wanted me to do to him. And I realized we should have done this stuff back when we were dating, but I think we were all on our P's and Q's. And so we may go back to that. And so I've also dated people or hung out with people where it was okay at first, but the second, third, fourth, fifth time, it just got better. Jeremy, if it doesn't happen the first time, like amazing sex, will you see them again or give them a like another chance?
I think I would be open to another chance. I think it really just depends on the chemistry more than just the actual act.
Right. Like, do you like them?
Mhm.
And I don't think that everything has to pan out perfectly, because a lot of times the first time can be like a hot mess, and then the second time can be like amazing and dreamy.
I 100% agree with you. And Kodi, I know Sade says never as good as the first time.
Oh my
but
gosh! Yes,
to quote a goddess.
an
But
icon.
how do you weigh in on this?
I was thinking completely different than you guys. I am of the thought that if you bite my dick, then you're lucky if you're friend zoned, because I will never see you again. I'll never talk to you again. So I've in the past, if I've had bad sex with somebody on the first time, then I file them under the lost cause category. But you guys got me thinking, and I'm like, going forward, if I do start to have more encounters, and then on the first encounter it's not that great, I will give them a second chance. Thank you very much for changing my mind.
I like that, because I'm kind of with Jeremy in that if the chemistry's there or you like them, or if you're, in my case, I often see them at a place I go to here in New York City, the Eagle. And if there's something there, maybe it just didn't happen that first time, but it could happen, and it has happened where it's just got deeper and deeper and better. So I'm a full proponent of that. So, okay. I like that. Yeah. So much fun with you guys. As always, you can always follow my co-host. You can follow Jeremy on Instagram. Follow him at J. Ross Lopez, at J. Ross Lopez. Follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me. I am _Steve V. And follow the show, TAGSPodcast.com. We will be Tags live this Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. You can get the link by going to TAGSPodcast.com. And we will be welcoming our special guest. He's been around several times talking about Tantra and so much more, Finn Dearheart. You don't want to miss it. It's this Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks, guys. So much fun.
Thanks, Boo.
Always fun.
And in the meantime, continue having hot
Hot
gay
sex.
Yes.